Welcome to the Nice Hair Podcast. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Haley.
We are two girls committed to being nice,
To hair and business.
and to keeping it real.
Just right there.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Is running.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Action. Go.
Perfect.
Holler.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Welcome to...
Episode 25. Today we are going to we're going to talk about starting your extension business and what that looks like.
But first...
Do you want me to tell my story first?
Yeah, Hannah had a very hilarious story happen to her this week, and she has to tell it before we do anything else.
More than my clients even talked to me about their hair this week. I had more clients talk to me about this story.
As they should have.
Oh, heavens. Okay, so we are preparing to sell. Actually, our house is sold, but we're...
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It was on the market for 3 days and we got a full asking price offer.
Good for you guys.
I know.
That's amazing.
I know.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, but before it sold, when we were having people come look at it, obviously we hired a house cleaner because the realtor suggested that because, just to make sure it gets done really well. So our realtor was like, I have someone for you. Don't worry about it. She does great. And I was like, perfect. Don't even have to find anybody. And so the house cleaner came when my daughter was just getting home from school. My son was not home from school yet. And she was, I think she may have been Russian. There was a language barrier there. Really nice woman. So I come in and come home from work. My daughter's already there. The house cleaner's finishing up. She was like, how does it look? Do you like everything? And this is my broken Russian accent. I don't know.
I love that you're doing the accent.
And I was like, yeah, it looks great. And she was like, I have to show you something. And I was like, okay. And so she pulls me over to a corner of my kitchen and there's a roll of paper towels sitting there. And I was like, okay. And she picks up the paper towels and she was like, I found your toy. Is the dog chewed on it. And I look down and it's my dog's toothbrush toy, which is unfortunately shaped like a penis. And I never realized it until this moment. And I was like, oh no, this Russian house cleaning lady thinks that my dog started chewing on my dildo and
she didn't.
hid it from my daughter because she didn't want my daughter to see that my dildo was chewed up, but it wasn't that at all. It was a dog toy. So I'm in my mind, I'm going through so many things. I'm like, how do I manage this language barrier situation? I don't know if I would even say dildo to this woman if she would know what that meant. Also, I'm like, oh no. My first instinct was I was like, oh no, this is a dog toy. And she was like, I put it out of the way. And she had all the little rubber pieces that the dog had chewed up to it.
In case you wanted to put
glue
it
back
together.
on or something. And I was like, so it was all crumpled in a pile, but then the structure of it was still there. And it was hidden. And I was like, oh no, this is a dog toy. And she was like, I put it away from, I put it over here. She's like, I don't know what you want to do with it essentially. And so to prove it to her, I just grabbed it and gave it to the dog. But then it looked so inappropriate too, because then my dog was carrying it around. I was just so embarrassing. And so that when I went to retell this story to anyone, half of the people were like, wink, wink. Okay, Hannah.
Okay, Hannah, we know what your dog is chewing.
I know. And I was like, and then I felt like I had to explain that. And then half of the people were like, oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I will post, we'll have to post a picture of this.
I think we should post it on the Nice Hair Instagram.
Yeah, I will. On the feed.
Yeah. I actually think.
Because after that, I told this story on my Instagram stories. And then I realized how ridiculous it sounded. And so then I got on Amazon and started screenshotting all these pictures of this dog toy just to like prove
Yeah.
to it. Oh my gosh, it was such
Well,
a mess.
So Lauren and I were talking with my client friend Erica on Monday night. And we were like telling her the story. And because Lauren and I hadn't talked about it. And I was like, I can't believe we're just now talking about this. Like, this is so funny. We both were like saying how we watched it like 8 times and we were crying at certain points because we were laughing so hard.
Like I got to a point where I just like, I almost needed to go in my room for like 2 hours and just shut the door and be alone. Cause it was just so many emotions. Like I had to tell my husband then that like, I felt like I got caught doing something wrong. And I literally paid someone to clean my house. Like,
So, but
Oh
when
my
we
gosh.
Googled it, we literally Googled dog toothbrush dildo.
yeah. And it came
popped
up. Yeah,
right up.
it came up.
It popped right up.
It came up. Mhm.
So if you're curious what it looks like and you can't wait until we post about it, just have that be your Google search and it'll pop right up. You'll know exactly what we're talking about. And then you can laugh about it.
The funniest part of all of this is that my husband is the one who ordered it. So like didn't even like, it came in the mail and like, you know, the kids and stuff were just like, okay, let's give Sadie her toothbrush because she needs her toothbrush. So like, I'm barely even paying attention to this toy.
Right. You're not thinking that
Not
what it looks
in
like.
the least.
Yeah.
Not in the least. I mean, my dog liked it a lot, actually. Look at her.
Wow. I know she's an angel.
She really loves Dylan.
I am so happy that happened to you.
I'm not even
glad you told Instagram about it too.
that's what my daughter was like, because my son wasn't home yet and it was like still fresh. And I was like, if I'm going to talk about this to the world,
have to
I
do
just
it
need to do
now.
it right now.
Yeah.
And my daughter was like, she's 13, so she gets
Right.
it. She was like dying in the background. She's like, this is so embarrassing, Mom. And not that it was embarrassing that I was talking about it. She was like, this situation is embarrassing. Like she was
so funny.
She was like, go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah. I love it. I love that story. It's one of my favorite stories I've ever heard.
I felt very ashamed of
Of you.
nothing.
Yeah, you shouldn't have felt ashamed.
I almost brought that toy for us because I brought Sadie today and I brought a dog toy and I almost brought it. I was like, no,
You should have, because
not a
then
good
we
idea.
could have. You should have brought it next time.
not a good idea.
Next time.
So
Okay.
there's that story.
All right. So we'll talk about what we're actually here to talk about now, but that's a good way to start your Monday. It's not Monday today, but you'll be listening to this on a Monday. It's a great way to start your Monday.
That's true.
You know, that'll make them laugh. And then they'll not be like, oh, it's Monday. They'll be like,
They'll be like, wow.
that was funny.
They're going to be Googling that at work and then
Yeah.
work's going to get flagged and they're going to be like, damn it. I
that's
am
perfect.
not looking for anything inappropriate.
Okay. So
We kind of broke the topic again is starting your extension business. And we did kind of break this down into like some bullet points or some like main focus points.
that we wanted to make. Just because I think these were some of the things that helped us build our extension clientele. And that's kind of what everybody was wanting to know, like how, because I had done hair for nine years before I started doing extensions.
Mhm.
So it was like, how did you grow and build that clientele? And then there were just some other like subcategories that we thought we would tie into it that just kind of made it kind of bring everything together. So I guess I almost want to do it as like, let's talk about what your strategy. Our stories are going to be kind of similar. And then we can talk about like how you actually use the tools that we'll talk about.
Sure.
Cool. So
Yeah.
you go first.
So in general, I think we can start with just like how to actually reach out and start growing a clientele that may be interested in extensions. I kind of did that starting with tape-ins, but it doesn't matter, I don't think, what method that you're using. It's going to kind of look the same.
Right.
I think it's important, honestly, if you have extensions in yourself, because then, and not that you want to be like the hero or the main focal point of your business, but I think as a guide, that's a good idea to to try to get extensions in yourself. I think that's a good,
Yeah.
if you're interested in them.
And I think too, because it says a lot, like if you're going to be selling something that you're not wearing yourself, that's a harder sale to make. So I would definitely say that's a great starting point if
And-
if you're not offering extensions yet, or if you know you want to switch methods, switch yourself to the method that you want to wear. And then,
Yeah, I've had girls who
Go from
have
there.
come to me to get extensions, that offer extensions, and I definitely feel like they've conveyed to me that they have a hard time talking to their clients about it without extensions in. So I think that's a good place to start. And then just talking about it, whether it's talking about it on your social media or just to your clients, like talk about the training that you're going to, talk about how exciting it was and how much you're really excited to change people's lives and to kind of take them from, not having crappy hair to hair that they really, really enjoy. Just kind of talk about how there's a problem and there's going to be a solution and how you're going to be in the mix of that.
Agree. I think one of the things you guys can't see right now, but Sadie is just loving all over
My dog's
Dylan.
such a lover.
So one of the things I think people struggle with when they're building their extension clientele is they're like, I don't have any work to post. And on your social media, you already have X number of people who enjoy following you. They're following you for a reason because they like who you are as a person. And people like going on a journey with you. So you may not have content to post. You may not have before and after transformations yet, but you have your journey. So that was honestly what I started doing to kind of like build hype, you could say, around building an extension clientele. I basically started talking about it. I said, this is the training that I'm going through. And then I built an email list based on that. I said, hey, I'm going to an MBR extension training. This is what MBR is. This is who it helps. This is who needs it.
Did you use a company? Sorry.
A company.
Did you use a company did you use like a MailChimp?
No.
So you literally were just collecting
said,
emails?
I was collecting emails in my DMs. Okay. So I said, if you would like more information about MBR when I get back from my training, send me your email in a message and I will add you to my list. I essentially made up a list that was my own thing that I created. I'll add you to my list and you will be the first people that will get access to becoming a client first. So you're giving those people reaching out to you, you're giving them an advantage. You guys get first dibs on appointments, on whatever, because they expressed interest first.
And this is the not sexy part of this too. Like it's not.
See, I think this part's sexy.
Yeah.
Like you're building hype. And then I had probably 25 people that were waiting on an email from me when I got back from California.
Yeah, collecting emails is like the least sexiest thing I can imagine. However, if you just make time for it, like anything else, if you collect emails and you say by the end of this, 1 month period, I'm going to take, sorry, I have coffee breath. I'm going to take these, whatever emails I get by the end of this 30 days. And like for me, I'm the type of person, because it's not fun for me to do that, I have to like put on my calendar, like Tuesday at 9 a.m. I'm going to sit down for 2 hours and email that. And if that's something that helps you guys do too, like if you need to break it down like this, break it down like this, because it does not come easy to me to perform simple tasks that seem normal to other people. So just as a tip for that, because I feel like we'll be like, okay, grow your clientele, do your pricing, start some marketing. If you have to break it down even more, that's okay. Like give yourself that time and write it out. Like, or type it out and then plan it for yourself. Like you were planning a doctor's appointment or anything else, because otherwise it'll just be a long laundry list of like things you never do.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And you just have to start small. And I think that's where people really overthink it. I didn't know what I was doing. So I basically was making it up as I go. I didn't know if this was going to work, but I was like, well, I want people to be interested in it. I want to have people to reach out to. So that was essentially why I started talking about what I was going to be offering. My goal was never to turn my business into an extension only business. I just wanted enough clients to cover what I paid for the training course.
I don't even know what the fuck I was thinking. Like, I literally am trying to like think. Like, I'm trying to think about, and I wasn't thinking while you were talking. Like, I was like listening to you, but then I was like, wait, what was my plan? And I was like, did I have one? Or I think I just knew. I think I just already had tape-in clients because I wore tape-ins. And then when I went and did training, I was like, oh, we'll just transition these people to MBR because.
See, I had 0 extension clients.
So we were kind of at different places.
We
with
were
that.
at very different places. I think if you already have an existing extension clientele,
By
this
tape-in
switch-
clients, I mean, I had 4.
Okay. Well, but if
There
you
was-
have an established client, even if you have 4 people, that's an easy switch. That's
Yeah.
an easy upsell. They're already used to spending some type of money. Yeah, they're going to spend more, but they're already used to an extension price tag. So,
Yeah.
and it's an easy upsell to say, well, this is better for you than tape-ins. All you have to do is like list the negative qualities of tape-ins. Like, well, yeah, that does suck. I don't like that.
And it
It's
is
an
all
easy
about
switch.
hype. It's all about like,
And people, as silly as this is, you guys, this is what like sales and marketing are. People want to be the first to have something or the first to be a part of something new and cool. If you like,
they want
It's
sexy too. So make sure you
100%.
show up looking whatever you feel good in. And I mean sexy in like so many ways, but like that is like for like business and marketing 101, sex sells. And not to like take advantage of that, but take advantage of it. We are in the beauty industry. You most likely, if you do beauty services, feel beautiful and have some sort of beauty to offer to the world. Take advantage of that. Show up as your best self and feel good every day. And that will kind of sell itself too. Like, don't think that you just have a service to offer. You are a part of the service, you know?
yeah,
so
totally.
like if,
I
and
agree
that
wholeheartedly.
will look different on everyone too, but just show up, you know, if you want people to feel sexy, show up looking pretty or sexy or whatever, you know, don't have your titties out obviously or whatever, but
Or
like,
do.
if you want, if that's your thing, do. Dylan's like not against that. He said, but like, you know, it's kind of all a part of a package. Haley, you had mentioned pricing too. And I think even at first, when I transitioned from tape-ins to NBR, I kind of slid back on my pricing from what I knew it should have been because I knew I was transitioning people to like a higher price point, but I didn't want to shock them. So I kind of met in the middle. And honestly, tape-ins and NBR at the time, because of the hair that I was purchasing, it wasn't that huge of a difference, honestly.
Really?
Mm-mm. So, but I did kind of give myself a little bit of like space in between there. So people weren't like, oh, hell no. Like, cause nobody wants to try something new and take a risk on something new.
Yeah.
That's so much more expensive.
So,
But like you were at a different place.
well, so, okay. So then that's how I would recommend starting. Start documenting your journey on social media.
Mhm.
Everything that we're going to be talking about has to do with social media, you guys. If you're not using social media to promote your business, you're foolish. And that's,
And if you're young, like if you're literally 17 and listening to this, get on TikTok. Like use whatever is working for you.
dude, I'm kind of obsessed with TikTok.
My husband is sickly obsessed with him. Him and my
I can't
13-year-old.
Stop.
Him and my 13-year-old will send each other TikTok stuff all day long.
Yeah.
And I can't.
I know.
It's fine. I don't mind it. I actually have a TikTok with videos on it.
It's so entertaining. It's so weird.
It's
and like,
so- It's the future though. So, I mean, we might as well get used to it. That's why I
so
started posting stuff on it.
confusing. I think that's why I can't stop because it's like one second I'll be laughing. And the next second, I'm like, what did I just watch?
Or you're
and
like,
then the
4
next second, there's a
hours
cooking
later.
tutorial.
I know. My daughter
Like-
loves those.
Oh my gosh, it's so weird.
But that'll be the future at some point. We'll have to learn how to
For
leverage
sure.
that. But it's, you know, almost 2020 right now. And Instagram is what it's just the most functional and the smartest way to leverage our business.
I would say I have Facebook and Instagram are my main two, but focus your marketing where you interact the most.
Mhm.
So if you're more active on Facebook, start there. If you're more active on Instagram, start there. Okay.
With what
so-
you're most comfortable with at
Yes.
first and where you have the most engagement.
Yes.
And if you don't feel comfortable, like I have a Facebook that I will link stuff to, but I'm not active on Facebook. So I just don't focus on it. And that's okay. Like
But we are going to
completely
talk
fine
about
with
Facebook ads because those transition it onto Instagram ads. So then we'll talk about that in a second. But
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So from here, I started taking models, and this is just what I did. I'm just sharing my journey and what worked for me. So take this with as you will. I'm not claiming to be an expert in growing an extension business, but this is just what has personally worked for me.
She's an expert.
I'm not, but okay. So I started taking models then after that. I was like so scared that I was going to hurt somebody's head so bad. So I made my sister be a model, of course.
And now
And
those poor people.
yeah, I had a couple other people that I had be a model for me, people that I know would give me genuine feedback.
Mhm.
That is where you start your marketing. Okay, hey, this is the first row I'm beating. You take a picture of that and then you finish everything. You post those photos and then you post them straight. You post them curled.
And don't worry about if it's like perfect or
Yeah.
not.
But
People know where you are in the journey.
Here's my recommendation for finding a model when you are first starting to try to like build your portfolio. Get a model who already has decent hair. Don't get somebody who has a bob that wants to have hair to their waist. Get somebody who has long hair, who just, you can add some length, like do yourself a favor.
Do the most simple form of what you're trying to do.
Yeah. And
Don't like try
and
to
start
be like
marketing that.
the color correction of the year with extensions and you know what I mean?
100%. And so then like take models, photograph them, have them bring a change of clothing. We've talked about this in other episodes and we'll reference those episodes where we
Have
kind
them
of dive more into all of this stuff, but
have them do their makeup or do their makeup for them. Like make them look cute, sexy. Remember, like
make it
you want it to look
fun.
cute.
Yeah,
Attractive.
totally. So that was kind of how I started. And then once I came back from my training, you guys, I was only posting extension clients.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped posting color. I stopped posting any of the other services I was offering. I was still taking them 100%, but I wasn't promoting them. I was trying to build an extension clientele. So I was marketing to people who were interested in extensions.
And I think that's like the biggest thing because I think about people who are in that in-between space who have training and they have, let's say, color and cut clients, but they don't really know what to do. Like to really to really blast their extension services off. And I think Haley's absolutely correct. Like put out as much extension work as possible. Talk about extensions as much as possible.
Teach them.
Nobody cares how obnoxious you are. Only you think you're
you
obnoxious.
care. Yeah. People love to be taught things. And
You've taught me that.
yeah, they really do. It's true. Like they love to be informed when they're purchasing. They like to know why what you're offering is better than something else. Talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk
about the problem they might have and how not, like I said, do not be the hero, be the guide.
yeah.
And
and how you can offer a solution.
there was a podcast I was listening to and I was talking about the difference between the hero and the guide. Everyone wants to be the hero of their own story. So like, let them be the hero that goes from crappy hair to beautiful hair. You want to position yourself as the guide who helps them. Cause it's not your movie. It's their world. You're just living in it. So like
It's true.
position yourself in that world in a way that you can help them with the problem that they're starting with and the solution that they want to get to, but don't overtake like the entire framework about you. Of course you want to talk about you and how you feel good because you were in a place with crappy hair and now your hair's better and that's given you so much freedom to move on in different ways in your life and you want to share that with them.
Totally.
But then like turn that over to them. And I think that's an important part of framing that too with clients, especially when you're trying to build.
yeah, they just
Okay.
they
So
want their problem to be acknowledged.
yes.
They want to know that there's hope. These are basic sales tactics, you guys. If you've
Same
ever
thing
done
that we
any type
want.
of selling, like there's a problem. They need to know that there's a solution and that you can offer them a solution to their problem.
That makes life better.
100%. And here's the thing, when you are doing a great job of educating them, speaking to what their problem is, what they need, how you can help, by the time you're doing a consultation with them, they are ready to purchase from you. You aren't doing a lot of selling. You're not like this like salesperson that is trying to sell something unnecessary. They already know that they need extensions or that they want this desired result. You're just offering them that solution. So you don't have to hop on this call and like hard sell them. They already know, they're basically already ready to purchase from you when you've done your social marketing well.
Okay, let's talk about pricing now. Sorry.
No, I like it.
Because most hair extension training you're going to do, they typically, because hair is a regional service, pricing is going to be really, really different from place to place. So if you go and train in California, the pricing that you might want to start out with is not going to be the same pricing that you might want to start out with in Ohio. Haley begs to differ. I beg to differ at this point in my career, but I do think there are some
I
room
don't
for
think
that.
you need to price based on your region. I truly, truly don't.
Okay.
So, and I think you need to price based on one, you don't want to lose money starting out. So you need to figure out the average number of wefts per head. We'll say 12 for somebody with average hair who wants to add length. I would say average 10 to 12 wefts.
Yes.
You need to figure out how much the hair costs.
Start by doing your numbers.
Start by doing your numbers. Figure out how much the hair costs. Figure out your average cost of color and price according to that. Okay. So like,
Don't get online and Google like extensions.
Susie from down the street. Don't go
Cincinnati,
stalking
Ohio.
her.
Yeah. Because you're not
pricing.
her and you don't know what she's offering, and her
No.
pricing can be astronomically way off. It could be, Haley and I both had clients come to us from other stylists where they were getting seriously overcharged or seriously undercharged for what they were receiving. And that's nobody's business but theirs, honestly. Like your pricing should be completely personal to you.
Well,
Now there is like, if you don't want clients, go ahead and charge $10,000 for, one row of extensions.
If you don't want clients.
Yeah, if you don't want clients,
But
because
here's
you
the-
have to be reasonable.
Yeah. You're always going to be too expensive for somebody and you're always going to be too cheap for somebody else. That's something you need to understand. People are going to not book with you because you're out of their price range, and people are going to look at you and be like, well, why is she so cheap? I don't want to book with her. That's too cheap for me.
And if you're too cheap too, people most likely won't be able to get in very quickly with you, which will be a turn off to a lot of people too.
Yeah. And then some people want to get in immediately. And if that works, that works. So, but you need to know your back end numbers
Mhm.
to base your pricing. And that's where I would start with that and then start building from there. So you don't want to be out any money on your cost. And when you're doing model services, I recommend just charging for chances are you're already good at color. So I would have them pay for their color.
And if you're not, back up,
Rewind.
and take a couple color classes.
Yeah. Work on your color. But so I'd charge regular pricing for their color, and then I would charge them to for the hair. I would charge them. I would not charge them to install it. And I would also, for going forward with their maintenance appointments, I think the first move up was free. The second move up was 50% off. And then after that, it was full price. That way they aren't out any money, and people are more willing to be honest when they're like, well, I didn't pay for this. So I know she needs my feedback. They don't feel as bad knowing like you are a model. Please give me your feedback, and touch base with your models, check in with them. But then go from there. So
I did it a little bit different when I first switched over because I already had clients with extensions that I was switching to a different method. I think I charged them, they paid for the hair, but then I think I charged them, I was like, hey, a move up, let's say at the time a move up was like $100 a row. I'd be like, hey, my base pricing for move ups will be $100 a row. For the first 2 appointments, I'm going to charge you like $50 or like half price until like you figure out that you really love it. And, you know, I kind of work some of my,
Kinks out.
yeah, little kinks out. And then we'll kind of like start at the baseline there. But like, you know, thank you so much for trusting me essentially and for letting me figure out how this best serves you. And so the price will be a little different for the first 2 services or whatever. But I think I wasn't installing anything for free, but I was doing like, you know, I was making it work for both of us. So I
Yeah.
think that'll look different depending on where you are.
In your journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Hannah, you know, she had a clientele. I didn't have a clientele. So I was like, well, I'm starting from nothing.
Right.
Um,
Because that's
So-
a whole new level of like, I had clients that already trusted me that I was just kind of switching over.
thanks. Dylan.
Haley probably had new people, you know, that needed this service that might not have been her color clients before or whatever.
Totally.
And like, don't be scared. Like I said before too, if you need to book this out as an appointment with yourself to sit down and look through your invoices and figure out, okay, how much does each piece of hair cost me? And then
I know for sure I was losing money when I had first priced out.
I've
My
always
extensions.
been very aware of how much.
I wasn't. I knew my numbers, but I didn't structure my pricing around my numbers. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
And I was in a salon. It's hard to, depending on whether you're by yourself, like Haley was the only one offering extension services. I was in a salon full of people offering extension services. I, however, was unwilling to lose money on hair. So I was charging more and people saw that. Like, and I had to not apologize for it because I'm like, I know what the numbers are. And I'm going to be charging, let's say $90 for a piece of hair back then. And, you know, they might've been charging 75 and my clients would ask me like, why are you charging more? And I'm like, that's how much the hair that I order costs. Like there's no other explanation for that.
yeah,
So if you just have to kind of hold your ground and be like, this is what my price is, then do that. But like, know that you might run into some of those challenges too, but just be confident in that. Like you've done the numbers. If someone else hasn't, that's okay. But you have,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Cause there was a lot of like, not to be negative about that, but there was a lot of
charging.
charging going on.
Yeah.
And it was like,
And if you aren't like sure of because you have to, these are other things you have to factor in. How much is your rent? How much does your assistant cost? How much, like those are all factors in your pricing, or they should be. If they're not, you're doing it wrong. I'm sorry to say.
because you don't know how much you're paying out.
Yeah, you don't know what you're paying out. So if that's something that's super overwhelming to you, hire an accountant, hire somebody to help you figure out those numbers and base your pricing off of that. If that's not something that you want to go through and do yourself.
Or find someone close in your life. This could even work too, that is willing to sit down with you, like a friend, a cousin, a sister, a husband, whoever, who's a numbers person and be like, hey, will you take 3 hours on a Sunday and just, I'm going to get my invoices out and will you please sit down with me and help me figure this out?
Yeah.
And they'll know the right questions to ask, like, oh, well, how much is your booth rent? And they'll actually, if it's the person that says yes to this, they're going to actually enjoy that. Because my husband enjoys
they'll
numbers.
love it. My sister does
Yeah.
all of my like back end stuff that I hate to do.
So it's like solving a puzzle to them.
she
and
gets so excited, and I want to just.
And that's what people
Run
do,
away
you
the
know,
other
that's what
way.
loved ones do for each other. So it's like there's someone in your life.
Buy them Starbucks if it's not
Yeah.
their job. I actually
Yeah.
pay my sister to do that kind of stuff now. You go to bed next to your
I
husband.
was about to say, we can't talk about our trade, okay?
That's gift.
It's confidential.
Oh, I
That is
love
not a dog toothbrush.
That's. Oh God.
But we work it out. We work it
It
out.
all works out in the end.
Somebody wants to help you. That's the thing. You, for sure, if you have clients, you are nice enough that you have a friend or
Ugh.
someone that will help you and that enjoys that. There's always a
Absolutely.
numbers person, and just ask them for that time. Do you want to move on to our next? So we've covered
We've covered
how to start growing,
marketing,
and then some pricing.
pricing, Facebook ads, and a website. So
That's kind of under the marketing bullet point.
yeah, so we'll kind of Yeah, I guess we should have put that in there. But
So the third point would be marketing and how to kind of start, which we talked about on how to start growing your clientele.
just with talking about your journey, that kind of thing. But
find your platform or two.
totally. And with your marketing, you need some, I'm going to say you need consistency no matter what.
Yeah. So you have to commit.
If
Another
you're just
thing,
posting,
If you got to write on your schedule every day, this is what type of person I am. If I do not have an appointment
Oh my gosh.
even for myself,
book yourself, post to Instagram, an
Literally.
appointment.
or hold yourself accountable. My husband knows
That's a good idea.
when I was doing BMS training that I had to do a live every day, and it would be like 10 o'clock at night. And he would be like, hey babe, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I noticed you didn't do your live today, because he like looked at it as a part of my job
Yeah.
and how that would negatively affect
And
me.
it is.
Yeah.
So that's
So if
like
you
one
have
of the
to-
hard things for a lot of the people in your life at first when you're starting to like shamelessly promote yourself. They're like, you're always on your phone. You're always on your phone. Yeah, that's how I'm building my business. And it's smart to have set like times. Like you said, you are committed right now to not being on your phone past 9:30.
Yeah. Discipline yourself and make a schedule or rules for yourself. Like I literally am treating myself like I'm a child, and I'm like, we put our phones down at 9:30. We are in bed by 10. We fall asleep by 10:30. Like that's my new structure.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, and a lot of people are very good at structuring themselves.
Totally.
I'm just out in the woods running around naked, pretty much. I mean, if you let me. So I have to like lay out, whatever. I have to lay out very specific things for myself to hold myself accountable. Everybody's going to fall somewhere else, on the scale for that.
So, but
Be consistent.
Be
If you're
consistent.
like every
So-
morning at 9, I post my Instagram.
yeah. And the way you're going to want to find out your ideal, there are ideal times to post on,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? So, and that's going to be literally different for everybody. My ideal time is during the week, is
Mine too.
from
Which day is
7
best
to
for you?
9 p.m. My best day is actually Thursday and Friday during the day.
Really? My best days are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Excuse me, from 9 to 9.
9 A to 9 P.
Mm-hmm. Anywhere in
Mine
that
is like
time
a
frame.
2-hour window.
Mine's like, it spikes up a little bit, but 9 a.m. is really, really hot for me on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. 9 p.m. is really, really hot for me on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then honestly, in between that, it stays somewhat consistent.
And your analytics on your Instagram
That
will
will-
show you that.
Let's go back to the beginning. Bullet point number 1, how to grow your clientele. Switch your Facebook, your Instagram, whatever platform you're using automatically, switch it to public right now. Pause this,
Oh,
switch
yeah.
it to public.
Get off private. Nobody's going to book with you if you're
You
private.
cannot be private if you're a business offering services.
And
And
no offense, unless you're like a teacher, your life isn't that important that it
Nobody
needs to be
cares.
private.
nobody cares. All your shit's already on the internet anyways.
Yeah.
They
They can find you.
switch switch everything to public. And now there's the creator
The
option
creator, yeah.
on Instagram. How do you feel? I switched it to creator.
I'm still business.
I don't really even know.
The creative.
Let me see if it gives me any more analytics real quick while we're talking about this.
I looked into both of them and I honestly don't remember the difference.
I don't
between-
think there's much of a difference.
The creative though is more for, I would say, like influencers. Think like your bloggers, your fitness. That kind of
I
stuff.
mean, look at me.
There were a couple key things that the business setting offered that I wasn't willing to lose to switch to a creator.
Which were?
I don't remember,
Damn it.
but there were a couple, though I don't know if they've kind of like merged into each
feel
other.
like they're the same, really.
Because it said on the creator one, like you can see like it keeps a track of your following, like how many people followed you this week versus how many people that unfollowed you. And I have that feature on my business platform, and I actually don't like it because I don't like.
yeah,
seeing-
those numbers can
truly
hurt you
like
sometimes.
it's like annoying. I actually try not to look at it because then I'm like, well, why did they unfollow me? What did I do wrong?
Yeah, but
You
you can't
know.
tell who unfollows
No,
you.
you can't tell
Yeah.
who unfollows you.
But
it does
Who's
say
the
how
guy
many.
who created Instagram? It used to be Tom on MySpace. Remember that?
No,
who's the
there was
guy?
two guys. It was two of them.
Okay,
I
hold on.
listened to their
I-
How I Built This.
I almost
It's
was
really
like,
good.
let's call Tom and ask him what the difference. But then I was like, damn, that was a boomer thing of me to say let's call Tom from MySpace. Okay.
Tom. But so anyways, okay, sorry. We keep getting, I think, distracted, but
People love us for that. I think that's our signature move.
You think?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
Be public.
Be public.
Also, we're learning how to podcast as we podcast. So
Yeah, we're
you're
figuring
going to
it out
learn
as we
how to market, how to do extensions, how to set your pricing.
Yes.
Everything's a learning curve.
That's one of the things I feel like I keep coming back to. Everybody wants this like secret sauce, this secret formula. There's not one.
We can just mic drop and fucking stop right there.
Yeah, you have to figure it out, honestly. And I think that's the best way to learn.
Going.
Yeah, you have to just figure out what doesn't work. And that's the thing. You're not failing if you're like, well, I posted 15 hair photos today and I got 3 likes. Like, okay, maybe that didn't work. So, but don't not post tomorrow because you posted 15 hair pictures today. You have to like figure out your own rhythm and your own thing. Like what worked for me maybe wouldn't work for you. And you're not going to know unless you try. So there's not this secret formula, this secret sauce that's going to help you like build your extension clientele overnight. It's not going to happen like that. I would say it took me probably 9 months to have a solid extension clientele. And then it took me a year to be only offering extensions.
And I think
So it doesn't happen overnight.
It's worth mentioning, even once you have what you would consider a solid extension clientele, you still have months or seasons where you're like, oh, I don't have a bunch of new clients coming in. Or you're like, holy shit, I can't accommodate all these new clients coming in. So there's going to be like an ebb and flow. Yeah.
And you've got to ride the wave.
And you can directly tie those back to how active you've been
on social media.
On social. And,
for sure.
Or if you're like me and you need a little more structure, I can directly tie back to when I don't have a lot of clients coming in to when I'm unstructured and I'm not being intentional about my work that I'm putting out.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I'm not planning well enough, or if I'm, it's mainly important to get yourself in a good place.
What kind of photos? Sorry.
No,
did
don't
I just
be sorry.
change?
No. Just get yourself in a good place.
What are your photos that do well for you?
Selfies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything with
selfies always do the best for me. And then,
before and after hair photos for me.
Yeah. Almost all of my hair photos are before and after. But like 22-inch ones usually do really well. Or if there's a big color correction, or color change, but that doesn't mean you don't post the like 1-row brunette.
A lot of the posts that aren't getting a lot of engagement, a lot of time, those are the ones that people who are stalking your Instagram and your social media, those are the ones they're paying attention to the most. Also,
say that again. What do you mean?
Like the ones that aren't necessarily getting enough engagement, but it could be like an educational post that gets not a lot of likes, but then you post a selfie and that one gets a ton of engagement and you're like, what the heck? Like nobody's paying attention to my hair photos. Yes, they are. I've also noticed, tell me if this is what you notice. The clients that book with me, most of the time I've never gotten a DM from them. I've never gotten a comment from them. Don't know if they've liked my photo. I don't know anything about the clients who actually book. So the people,
that's a good point.
Like you think people aren't paying attention. Yeah. They are watching you like a hawk. They might just not be engaging with your content. They're just watching to see what you do.
That's such a good point because sometimes you'll get like and Haley and I use an application system. We can talk about that between our pricing and our marketing kind of focus points here. But a lot of times, you will get like an inquiry or an application from somebody who's like, oh my gosh, I followed you for so long. I love your work. And you're like, I don't know who this is, but like, what a pleasant surprise, you know? So you 100%. Really don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
I'm super impressed that Instagram just lets you go live for an infinite amount of time.
I know, it's kind of fun.
And not for Aaron Carter. He's a sad, sad man. sad man.
Maybe they should have like a filtering system where they're like, you need cut off. It's like a bartender.
It's like the blue check verified
bartender.
Like they should blue check verify and set time limits for lives for
No,
people
I'm
like
glad
him.
we're not on a time limit right now.
We're at 45 minutes.
Okay, thank
so
you.
we're
Well, we have about 15 more minutes to wrap this up.
okay. Thanks, Dylan. Okay.
So yeah, this is correct.
Yeah, this is good. So marketing, be consistent. You guys, videos. I know it's weird to do videos of yourself on your story.
If you do not do videos though, that is the quickest way to not grow your business. And I've been a terrible example lately because I haven't been doing a bunch of videos, but I'm not scared to do videos. That's the thing, because you just have to do them.
People like to know who they're doing business with, and
I love when you say that.
it's true.
That should be your tagline.
It really should. And that's a very, very easy way for people to get to know you and to engage with you. They get to see a little bit of your personality on your videos, and
Or a lot of your personality if you're me and you have
And you're-
a dog toothbrush.
dildo.
Yeah.
But yeah, post videos, post to your actual Instagram. I honestly, I just think consistency is key.
Yeah, I
No
do
matter
too.
what, like
If you're going to do all stories and post on your feed twice a week, do all stories and post on your feed twice a week.
Yeah.
Like
I post once a day usually. I actually want to increase to like 2 to 3. That's
Yeah,
my goal.
that's
Um,
I've heard
yeah.
through the grapevine that's super effective.
So I post once a day right now. I always try to do at least one video with my face. You guys think it's just like
I love your
hopping
face.
on, saying like something silly and something stupid on my story about, my coffee or my workout or whatever. No, that's intentional. People like seeing the person that they're following. So I try to do one post or video of my face. And then when I'm at the salon, I like to try to show like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. People really like seeing
Even if you think
beadwork
it's
and
silly.
stitching. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not silly. It's all intentional. And I think that's what people don't realize, just how intentional everything is with social media. It looks silly and stupid up front, but it's not.
You have to pull it back too. Before we wrap
I
this
really want to talk about our call to action.
Okay. Before we talk about call to action, I want to encourage anyone starting their extension business to not, or anyone who's already in their extension business, to take a step back and look at your website, look at like the wording or the verbiage on your website, your Instagram, anything like that, and talk to your audience as if they were maybe like a 5th grader who didn't know what extensions were, because we can get too jargony and we can get too, I think because we want to appear knowledgeable, but it's not knowledgeable. It's confusing for clients.
Totally.
So I think simple is better. And I think using like very simple words and describing things in a very like plain way.
What is it
Is
too?
great.
It's like the rule of 7. It takes people seeing your content 7 times before they will purchase from you. Isn't that's a thing, right?
You should trademark it if it's not,
No,
because it sounds
it's not
wonderful.
original to me. It's really not. It's a thing.
Yeah, sure.
I'm 97% sure that that's like an actual statistic. So you guys think you're being obnoxious, pushing and promoting yourself
You're not.
all the time. You're not. People, and they're not seeing every single post that you're putting out.
You're
So,
not.
okay, I want to talk about call to action because it is so important. And if you have followed along with Hannah and I for any amount of time, you will see at the end of every single post that we tell you to do something.
I didn't even know what call to action was until
Me either.
And I was doing a call to action, but because I was set up with MBR through their Big Money Stylist program, they had us like create a call to action. I didn't know that's what it was called
Yeah, me either.
until I was like, what the fuck is a call to action? And I
It's
did a video with them, and then I was like, they were like,
everything.
this is your call to action. And I was like, okay.
If somebody is taking the time to read through your entire post, they get to the bottom and then it's just like, bye. You're not telling them to do anything. What do you
Yeah.
want them to do after do you want them to tag a friend? Do you want them to leave a comment? Do you want them to visit your website?
Very direct.
Tell them to do something.
Click the link in my bio.
Click the link in my bio. That is going to direct you, if you do that for me, it's going to take you to my website. There is so much MBR information on there. It's also going to take you to my questionnaire that you're going to fill out so that I can get your information. That's how you book a consultation with me. I will say that at the end of the thing. Interested in a consultation? Click the link in my bio.
And some people still won't listen and they'll DM you.
And they'll still get a DM. And guess what? If you DM me and you want information about extensions, I'm going to reference my website. Again, I'm going to say, hey, all the information that you need is here. I'm going to need you to fill out this questionnaire through my website, and then I'll be in touch to set up your consultation. That's how you get an appointment.
And that'll piss some people off. Honestly, I got a phone call on my phone
No.
yesterday. I don't know. My phone number's not listed on my Instagram or anything anywhere. And she said she'd been looking at, she'd been doing some research on MBR for a long time. And she called my phone and I happened to pick up because I thought it was actually the vet. And I was in the middle of a client and it was fine. She was talking to me and I was like, hey, I need to take a peek at your hair before I can give you any of this information to take a look. So I got off the phone with her, directly text messaged her the link to my application. Never heard anything back from her. So I think it pissed her off that I wouldn't, but I'm like, this is my
This is my process.
for
This
getting
is
in.
how,
Yeah.
and you guys, it's also when you have a system that you follow, it legitimizes you and your business. It makes people take it a lot more seriously. You're like, no, this is how I do it. This is what every single client does. It sets the tone.
And it gives you peace of mind too, because if not, you will just be
There's-
chasing your tail.
Totally. And there's
Looking
no
in your
excuse.
inbox, looking in your
Yes.
text messages, looking in your email, looking through your voicemails. It makes no sense.
It gets sloppy and it gets messy.
And it's unprofessional and it's not how businesses are run. So
I am so thankful that that is something that I did, just having that. So what the form is, if you're the questionnaire, if you're not sure or not aware, you will go to it. It's on the investment and upkeep page of my website. It's going to ask you a ton of questions. What's your name? How'd you hear about me? I need your info. I need your email address. I need your phone number.
hold on,
I've had-
Haley.
What?
So is there a difference between your website and your application?
Oh my gosh, Hannah, great question. Yeah. So my website
Do
is
I need that?
what?
I'm just saying. Is
Oh,
it-
yes, you
Okay.
do. Okay. I had my questionnaire before I had my website, and that worked for me for a long time. I wanted a landing page when people Googled me. And I didn't have anything like that. I had my Facebook page, but I'm not as active as I should be on Facebook. So I wanted a website page so that again, having a website, a professional looking website, legitimizes you. If you don't exist on the internet in the form of a website, a lot of times you don't exist to a client. So that was where I didn't build out a website. I hired my sweet friend Erica, who I don't think is currently building new websites, but I hired her to build me one, and it's perfect for what I need.
And it doesn't have to be crazy.
No,
There's a difference between a website and like an application page, though. An application page you can start out with that. That's perfectly acceptable
and I
when you're
had that
starting
for
out.
a year. Yeah.
And that two good ones that we've used in the past are jotform.com or Wufoo, WUFOO.com.
That's what I still use to this day.
Same. And they are two websites that are essentially application templates. They are a little hard to figure out at first. You just have to set aside time.
YouTube
to-
it. That's
There
how
you go.
I figured it out. I asked somebody and they were like, look this up on YouTube. And actually I'm glad that they did that, because again,
You taught
forces
yourself
you to
then.
figure it out on your own. And then when you need to change or tweak something, you can do it yourself. So you can find anything on YouTube it, build
So
it out
that's
that
just
way.
the
Yeah.
application that your clients, if they're interested, that's a way for you to collect basic information from them that will then help you kind of figure out if they're going to be a good client and fit for you. And it'll give them basic information like your pricing and your deposit and things like that. That separate like application can then be put on or linked to a homepage or a landing page
Yes.
website, which is what Haley was talking about.
But just kind of the point again of the application. I think we got sidetracked. Oh, I do only have 2 minutes remaining on my live. It does cut you off.
Rude.
Interesting. The point of that. So like extensions are expensive, right? I have all my pricing listed. So if somebody is inquiring about extensions, I don't have this back and forth in my text, in my email, or on DM going back and forth of pricing. I don't have that with them because it's all structured and laid out on my form. So if it's out of their budget, if it's out of their price range, then they're like, they already know, oh, that's not going to be a good fit. I need to find something that fits a little bit better. So
You want to be clear.
yes. And
right
it
from the
just
rip.
lays that out, like that expectation. So they know like pricing ahead of time, they're going to know automatically if that's something that works for them or if it doesn't. So it saves a lot of time and energy on both your part and the client's part. You don't have a lot of that like back and forth.
Mhm.
And again, that's just your time.
You
That's
wanna-
their time. Time is valuable.
You want to give people answers in the simplest way as possible. You do want to give them information and you do want to keep their attention, but you don't want to string them along as far as pricing. If there's any advice I could give to anyone who's already set up as an extension client that feels like they're not getting the influx of clients that they currently want, take your 22-page application that you have right now and put it in one page. No one wants to submit their name, their email, all the information just to get to the end of the application, just to find out how much the extensions are. It's
Yeah.
not helping. It's not beneficial. I don't think it's a good marketing tool. MBR would probably beg to differ. I don't like it. I
Yeah.
think clear is the most efficient way.
I've always had mine on one page, and that's always worked for me. So
too.
I've never thought of it. I've never thought to change it
Me too.
truly. So
Last thing. Oh, and then it's just a good idea to have a website. So you can, first of all, you're going to want to go to a domain page or a domain registration page, bluehost.com or godaddy.com. You put in whatever your website, you want your website, www.mineshannahdavishair.com. It'll tell you if it's available for purchase. You purchase it. And then you can go to WordPress or what's the other one? Dylan, what's the other? easy one? Squarespace. And you can plug your domain into there and then either have someone create a website for you or create a website for you. If you're a serious business person, entrepreneur, extension specialist, get a landing page. If Facebook or Instagram were to crash, were to get taken over by China, were to something happens and it's gone, how are people supposed to find you?
Yeah. True.
They need to be able to put your name, Hannah Davis, Dayton, Ohio, into a search bar, and you need to pop up with hannahdavishair.com or whatever.
Wholeheartedly agree.
So I think that is, that's a good ending point.
I agree. I feel like that was a
lot of good information.
wow.
We also,
Go us.
if you have other, if you want some of this to be elaborated more on, episode 15 is about how to stand out in your business. That's a good episode to listen back to. And then episode 3 is our social media focused episode. Listen back to that as well.
You're going to hear a lot of the same information. So if you guys are new to the podcast, I do encourage you to go back to the beginning and just kind of go through and listen to a lot of those early episodes, because we do talk a lot about a lot of the stuff we covered already. But I don't think we've ever just talked as a whole about starting and building specifically an extension clientele.
So
Thank you guys so much for listening.
thank you. This was fun.
This was super fun. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys. Love you.
And we love you so much.
Bye.
I love you. Bye.